36 chambers. It's the ghost.
What up, y'all? This is your boy Onslaught Tree. This is Talking Barz, and this week we have a special guest for y'all. Let's bring him up in here. Hip hop ambassador, content creator, specializes in music and movies. Go ahead, introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, I'm Triboro Gigolo from in New York, born and raised. I'm a content creator. I do stuff on YouTube and other platforms on social media. I'm a hip hop head. I love music, in general, many different artists and genres, and I'm just here for the culture, man.
All right. Try, man. I've been watching you for a while now, and you have a passion for music and for movies, and for you talk about a lot of sitcoms and stuff. Where did your passion for music start? Like, where did you fall in love with music and hip hop?
For me, it was pop music, like soul music, pop music. Growing up in the '80s, and
it wasn't hardcore hip hop that pulled you in.
That came later. That was like when I started listening to music. Like hip hop wasn't even a genre yet. So, like for me, growing up on Michael Jackson and Prince, Madonna, Culture, so I got into the pop music first and R&B. Caribbean music, because I am Caribbean as well, soca music.
Shout out to Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, shout out to Trinidad, Barbados also, a lot of many different genres that I listened to. And then hip hop came in gradually, like, UTFO, Houdini, Run DMC, Curtis Blow, like that early hip hop. That was when I started listening to and everything else. It just became like the soundtrack to my life later on.
Okay. Do you remember the first hip hop album that you purchased with your own money? Do you remember that?
That I believe it was either UTFO, the UTFO album with a.
Ooh, that's 80s, right?
Yeah, 80s.
Okay.
It was that and Run DMC Raising Hell. You know what I'm saying? So
you were getting money. You were getting money to purchase albums back then. Try.
Yes, like every like week or so, I would go to the record store with my mom. My mom's a huge record collector as well, so I got it from her.
Okay.
And buying the newest, new edition releases or the Barz or whatever. So yeah, like it started to become a serious genre. I was buying a lot of records, a lot of tapes. I still remember I bought was the Houdini One Love maxi single.
Ooh, that's way back there.
The different mixes and the snippets of the albums and all that, and yeah, it was.
Okay. I watch your YouTube show. You have 80s, 90s, early 2000s hip hop and stuff. One of the things I like about you guys' show is that you guys delve into movies, TV stuff. Talk about the 90s sitcoms, because you guys talk about a lot of sitcoms. I see you guys did an episode where you talked about a lot of the sitcoms from the 90s. What made the 90s sitcoms so great?
The 90s sitcoms, I feel like it was, they related more to the hip hop culture. If you watch Martin, you watch Living Single.
Living Single, oh man, woof.
Yeah, you watch the Wayans brothers, Jamie Foxx show, they all related to us. Like they all had topics, in the episodes that related to, love and relationships and, mental health and maybe somebody down in their family.
Okay.
It was all in the hip hop culture and that was like things that maybe necessarily a lot of our artists wasn't talking about on record, but we could see it on the big screen, every Sunday night, every Thursday night, and it was like a religion for us. It was like, when Martin coming on at 8 p.m. on Thursday,
everybody's watching Martin. Yeah.
Right, then single 8:30, then New York Undercover at 9 p.m.
New York Undercover. Oh man, you calling some classics there, man. You calling? I remember going back to MASH and Cheers and like I said, Martin in Living Color and stuff like that. Why do you think that those sitcoms didn't translate to now? Like the stuff we were getting back then. Why do you think that it's not produced today? Is there a reason for that?
I think a lot of social media plays a part in that. Like I think like because of TikTok, You know, people want to see short vids. I don't know if they want to see a 30 episode. You know, and also you got streaming now. So there's a lot of stuff on streaming, and I think that was like an era where it's a era in itself where I don't think we'll ever get an era like that again.
Really?
But yeah, I don't know if I mean if we do it, it won't be no time soon. It'll be like maybe 40 years down the line. I feel like
Ooh.
that
Ooh. Okay.
more like dramas and action and you know what I'm saying. I don't know if it would have to take somebody of significance in Hollywood to really bring the sitcoms back though.
Okay. Give me your top 3 sitcoms all time. It can be anything. Top 3. Your top 3 favorite sitcoms of all time.
90's.
Let's go 90's. Let's go 90's. My favorite generation. Let's go 90's.
All right, well, it got to be Martin. Martin definitely.
Okay.
The Wayans brothers.
Ooh. Wait. Wayans brothers over Living Single? No, not Living Single. In Living Color?
It's so many though.
Go ahead. Martin, Wayans brothers. What's the third one?
Family Matters.
Oh, okay. I never watched too much of that. That was with Urkel. That was with Urkel, right? Okay.
It's like ABC when they had like the TGIF lineup. It was Family Matters. You had Hanging with Mr. Cooper.
I remember that.
Kyle,
Yep.
Green and Teen Witch. So that was a great lineup of shows on Friday nights.
Right. For anybody that's watching this video, check out Triboro's YouTube page. They talk about when you guys talk about those sitcoms, that just brings me back to that time. I really loved a lot of the sitcoms back from the late 80s, early 90s. I want to ask you about the state of female hip hop today. Me personally, I think the state of hip hop, when it comes to females today, I think it's a little bit lacking. What's your opinion on female hip hop today?
I think it's really like mainstream. I think it's really ratchet. They really putting out the wrong messages for young women. I mean, there's a couple that's I guess you could say they're role models to young women like Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion, but a lot of them now they have the same style. Like I can't really tell apart. Back in the day, we had Latifah, we had Moni Love, we had Yo-Yo, MC Lyte. You could tell each one apart. Nowadays, you don't know who's on, who's coming out with what. They all sound the same. But I mean, there are a few exceptions. I love Rhapsody. I think Rhapsody.
One of my favorite MCs. I absolutely love Rhapsody.
Shay Noor.
Shay Noor is pretty dope as well.
Who else? Who else is another one? Riveri. She's from the West Coast.
Okay.
There's a couple, but they're mostly like underground. Jean Grey. She's been doing it for a long time.
Jean Grey's been around for a while. Shout out to Jean Grey. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I just feel like for the young audience that they have that are females, I think like they're pushing out the wrong messages to them at such a young age. And I think we need balance. If you're gonna listen to Cardi B, you get to know who Queen Latifah is. If you're gonna listen to Megan Thee Stallion, get to know who Nefertiti was and think, you know what I mean?
Okay. Let's switch to VERZUZ. I know you've watched VERZUZ. You're pretty knowledgeable what's going on in VERZUZ. I think Swiss Beats and Timbaland created a phenomenal platform with what VERZUZ is. They took a little hiatus. They say that they're coming back. What are your opinion on VERZUZ? Do you think VERZUZ is going to come back? If it does come back, do you think it'll come back to the strength it was? Would it get better? Would it get worse? What do you think about VERZUZ?
I think if they come back, it needs to be more on the they need to have like a broader audience. Like besides hip hop and R&B,
we had reggae. We had Beanie Man and Bounty Killer. I think that was the only reggae, right?
I'm looking at it like as a music fan, and and want to see like maybe some rock bands go at it, some pop artists go at it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some jazz artists, but if they're gonna keep it strictly pop, they gotta open it. They gotta make it wider and bring in some of the underground artists. I would like to see Talib Kweli, do a VERZUZ. Or most, you know what I'm saying? Artists like that, where it's not just about
Most Def and Talib Kweli will be amazing.
Right, it's not just about how many records you sold or how mainstream you was, and that's cool. But I feel like the underground artists can hang, and a lot of them got album cuts that are strong that the people their fan base knows, and I think they need to broaden it out a little bit.
Okay. What's your favorite verses in the past? Like, what was your favorite verses?
Man, love the first one, King. That
was nice. KRS winning. Who won that one?
Oh man, I'm gonna give it to KRS One because he's such a showman on stage, and he's all about business. He's not bringing out a whole bunch of celebrity guests, and he can really stage by himself. And I think that was one of the best ones because they kept it hip hop. We had the DJs doing their thing, and I loved it.
All right. If you had to have a dream versus matchup, who is your dream versus matchup?
Jay-Z and Nas.
Jay-Z and Nas, not going to happen, Try. You know that's not going to happen, Try. Come on now. Jay-Z is too busy going to concerts with Blue and Beyonce. Nas is still on the scene, so you might have something going there.
And I think if there's anybody that can bait Jay-Z into doing a versus, it's Nas. You gotta love to see that at Madison Square Garden, and go not even 20 for 20, go 40 for 40. It got so
the Garden will definitely sell out. What you guys got coming up next for the channel?
For 80s and 90s, we're planning on doing a lot of stuff like on location. I know shout out to Jamal, he's actually moving to New York very soon.
Okay.
Doing stuff on location around the city and doing more vids. We just finished season 2 of our podcast on all streaming. And we're gonna start season 3 in a couple of weeks. And for my channel, for Danny Rap Podcast, I just did a Redman album ranking last night with
shout out to Redman, one of my favorite MCs.
It was fun. I plan on doing more album rankings with different artists too.
Okay. Nas is in the mainstream still. Nas has been around. Nas has been around since the early 90s, and he's still releasing content. He released that King Disease trilogy. He released those 2 Magic albums. A lot of fans are torn. There's the old school fans like myself that still gravitate to the early Nas stuff. And then there are some fans that says, let them grow, let them create new music. Where do you stand with Nas? Do you enjoy the content he's putting out today, or do you want to see him heighten back to some of the older, more raw Nas content?
I think he's making the best music of his career right now.
The best of his career?
Yes. Ooh. Like, when you think about it, what's another artist from his era in the 90s that's making great music at 50 years old? He's the only one.
That's a good point. I think KRS is still dropping stuff here and there. I think Cool G Rap is here and there, but that's a great point. That's a good point.
Yeah, and he's doing it consistently. Like, this is what we wanted 25 years ago from Nas. Like, when he was dropping stuff like Untitled and Street Disciple, a lot of people did not care for those albums.
Wait. Hold on, Try. Let me hear what you guys say about Untitled. How do you feel about the Untitled, the N album? Let me hear this.
I love the album concept for Untitled. Mm-hmm. The production to me is what it was shaky for. You know what I'm saying? But it's a great album concept because I feel like there's very few artists that can pull off that concept, and he did it. But I think the production and the fact that that album leaked onto the internet, it really hear nobody mention that album though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But for me to be 50 years old and dropping every year consistent hip hop and grown hip hop, that's what I call it. It's grown hip hop, and I think he's making the best music of his career.
Okay. Well, look, Try. This is part of the show where we're going to call Rapid Fire Minute. Put the clock on. We're going to give you a minute, Try, and you got to answer as much questions as you can. You can answer either or you can punk out and say you pass. All right, so we're going to start the clock, and we're going to ask you a series of questions. Answer either or no comment. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's start the clock. You got 1 minute. Lil' Kim or Foxy Brown?
Foxy Brown.
Okay. Ice Cube or Notorious B.I.G.?
Biggie.
Jeru the Damager or Big Daddy Kane? Kane? Okay.
Yeah.
EPMD or Mobb Deep?
Mobb Deep.
Ooh, I'm surprised with that one. Chopped cheese sandwich or a Philly cheesesteak?
Philly cheesesteak.
Philly cheesesteak. Oh, and you in New York. Okay. You know what? Jamaican beef patty. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love the Philly cheesesteak. It's just something about the sandwich. So.
All right. Jamaican beef patty or New York sliced pizza?
New York sliced pizza.
Ooh. White Air Force Ones or beef and broccoli Tims?
Air Force Ones.
Last one. Summer white tees or throwback jerseys?
Summer white tees.
Summer white tees. And look, I want to thank you for joining today. Thank you for joining Talking Barz. This is the end of the show. I want you, if you have anything you want to say to the people, anything you want to put out there, anything you want to promote, this is your time right now, Try.
Follow me on Instagram at Triboro_Gigolo. Follow my podcast, That Ain't Rap Podcast on YouTube. Follow us at also 80s and 90s on YouTube and on Instagram. And we'll tell you.
Try. Keep on doing what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Keep it
Thank
up.
you.
Peace to you, all right?
Yes.